Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the campus, Arizona State University, on Blaze Radio. And now, it's time! Here's Weston DeWitt!
Yes! Welcome into the latest edition of the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. It is November 20th, 2017, broadcasting from the Bill Austin Radio Studios in downtown Phoenix. Seth Askelson, Sports Update Man, is in the house today. Harley Yearout is always in the house today as well. Eliav Gabay, how was your weekend, man? How was it?
It was fantastic. It was definitely a good one because you got to see a couple things that you don't really get to see a lot as far as ASU being successful in a lot of sports in the same weekend. But it is our second to last show, and it's getting real.
You're going to make me cry already, dude.
It's getting real. We're getting there.
The last episode is next week, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to have to tune in to find out who's hosting in the spring. Very special surprise we have planned for everybody.
Yes, indeed. A special one.
We have a slew of items to get to today. Let's be positive today, Eliav. Today is a good day. Yes. We are going to focus on
We're celebrating. We're not mourning the show. We're celebrating the show.
And we're celebrating in large part because we have a very special guest who's calling in at 10:30. He's kind of a name, and he's kind of a big deal. His name is Shane Doan.
Who?
He's the former captain of the Arizona Coyotes, and he is now the latest employee of the NHL as he joins as a hockey operations staff member. He will join us at 10:30 live on the line with us. We also have some NBA news and notes to cover. LaVar Ball and Donald Trump, of course.
Oh my God, this is like the dream scenario for any internet troll. This is like the combination of the two biggest trolls in the world coming together for this like momentous, disastrous occasion, and it's just fantastic. I mean, LaVar Ball is going to be on CNN. We've gotten to that point, ladies and gentlemen, where LaVar Ball is on CNN. I mean, how much big baller can it get? He's going to plug his brand like crazy, and he's going to trash the press. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so fun to watch from the side. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
This is what we've digressed to at this point. And we also
digressed? This is where we've come.
For high quality entertainment purposes, this is the highest peak that we're going to get to. So we got some other NBA news and notes to cover. Jim Mora is out as UCLA coach. We're going to touch on that, plus some other college football notes. The World Cup is set. Most disappointing misses? We got a few lists other than just the USA, of course. Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm are going to fight at USC 219. We will give our early impressions of that. But the first order of business is to dive into the gridiron and talk about some NFL action. So let's start in Houston, Texas, where the Houston Texans defeated the Arizona Cardinals 31-21. Tom Savage threw for 230 yards. Foreman rushed for 65 yards. DeAndre Hopkins had 9 targets, just 4 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. For Arizona, Blaine Gabbert got the start. Looked relatively okay, actually.
I was about to say, everyone was hating on him and doubting, and I get it. There's a lot of reason to.
For fair reason.
Right. But he didn't do a bad job. I know there's 2 picks, but still, 92.4 QBR. He looked in control. He looked in control for most of it. Yeah. In the fourth quarter, completely lost flow, and Houston capitalized. But overall, I'd say Blaine Gabbert did not do a bad job, and people are going to try and hate on him. But it's simple as that. It was okay. It was okay for your third-string quarterback. It was fine.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson, no sign of him again. He has been so inconsistent with this team because 1 minute he's balling out, rushing for 100 over 50 yards, and then the next game he's rushing for just 26 yards. He did the same thing in London against the Rams.
Well, what's the surprise? I'm not surprised by this.
No.
I'm not surprised. I know, I get it. AP, all right? I understand all day. I understand, but it's still, this guy has shown to be inconsistent in the past. First of all, this is season.
Yeah.
But with his injuries over the past few years, I mean, we already know running backs don't have a long shelf life.
Yeah.
And he's gotten past that point. It's simple as that. This is who he is now. He's going to be inconsistent. He's going to give his best from what we've seen. He doesn't take a day off as far as, his effort is concerned. But when it comes to performing, this is what AP is. This is what you should expect.
And also, you would think he would do better against that Houston defense without J.J. Watt and just a depleted Texans roster all around. So disappointing effort put in by Adrian Peterson. Budda Baker on the defensive side of the football looked really good. 13 tackles. Deion Buchanan with 13 as well. But having Clowney on the other side is also no easy task. 3.5 tackles for loss. He's a baller in his own right. And I think the takeaway from this game was the Cardinals going for it on 4th down late in the 4th quarter in their own territory too, and Bruce Arians openly came out and said, the reason we lost the game is because I made that decision. So I don't want to put the blame on Bruce Arians because I still think he's a tremendous coach. But at the same, this team just needs a quarterback. They need some kind of consistency. They have to find their own identity. Like we talk about with ASU football all the time, this team needs an identity. They don't have one right now. They just don't. Well, when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, they had a quarterback. Even with that quarterback, they need their star back in David Johnson. That was the key. It's no bold prediction. It's no secret it's the best player on their team, and he's been out all year, and this is what happens when you're shook like that, and your team wasn't even that good to begin with. The Philadelphia Eagles are 9-1. That team is that good. Arguably the best team in the NFL as they smoked the Dallas Cowboys 37-9 on Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys drop to 5-5. So Dak Prescott, 3 interceptions. Okay, okay. Is there so much all that he can do? Dak Prescott, 145 yards. No, not as much of a running game. Alfred Morris did rush for 91 yards. Yes. Listen, he didn't have a good game. Straight up, he just did not. You see that from the paper. But what I mean by that is, and Harley and I talked about this, and we'll bring him in. It was just an uncharacteristic night for Dak Prescott. It wasn't the Dak Prescott we know, and that'll happen, and that's fine. But one of the picks was a tip ball. The other 2 were just sailed. He just sailed them, and that's what happened. But at the end of the day, Dak Prescott's still fine. He's still good. Dallas Cowboys in general, just obviously very hurt. So many distractions off the field right now. It's ridiculous. Harley, how did you feel about last night's game?
It was rough. I mean, there's no other. It was just. I mean, the Eagles looked vulnerable for a half. They looked. I mean, when you go back and look, I mean, it was a 9-7 game, and Philly wasn't capitalizing just on the first possession on the turnovers that Dallas had in the first half, and then the third quarter came around, and it was all downhill for Dallas after that. And the Cowboys, as I mentioned, 5-5 right now. We look at the remainder of their schedule. They got the Chargers on Thanksgiving Day this Thursday, and that's a really short turnaround. That's a winnable game with a short turnaround, though. It's going to be a short turnaround, and you still don't have a left tackle, and you need somebody to block Dak Prescott's blind side, and you need to get Smith back for the left tackle position because it just ain't working for the Cowboys. So we're going to see how they do moving forward. But the Eagles, 9-1. This team looks like they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, as far as good as anyone can look, 10 games in, there's no doubt. But at the end of the day, they got Jay Ajayi for literally a bag of rocks, a box of cookies. Yeah, exactly. They got him for nothing, and I knew when he was coming in, he was going to be good. I think everyone did, but just adding to the arsenal that the Eagles have, great job, great trade. The New Orleans Saints with a sweet comeback yesterday against the Washington Redskins, 34-31. Drew Brees, this is all I need to say. On those last 2 possessions to tie the game, 11 for 11 with 2 touchdowns. Perfect. Drew Brees is extraordinary. He is unbelievable, and he's carrying this team to a 9-2 record when everybody was led to believe that the New Orleans Saints were going to be a bunch of flops. Yeah, they were supposed to be a dumpster fire. Yeah. Supposed to be a dumpster fire this year. Really, no one had them anywhere
everywhere relevant, and they're totally going against all of that. That's really been the theme kind of this season. A lot of teams that you don't expect to do well. But on the other end, Washington Redskins did the most Washington Redskins thing you could possibly have done and blow a lead like that. And of course, it was the game-winning field goal in OT. And the Saints staying in it and keeping their season hot right now because the defense is stepping up. Of course, you're going to have Drew Brees, but the big question was the defense, and they're doing their jobs this season.
And that's sometimes all you just need to do. Your defense needs to play not extraordinary, but when you got a quarterback like Drew Brees and a running back like Mark Ingram and Kamara as the two-headed monster with Kobe Fleener, Thomas, and Ted Ginn Jr., the Saints are something special, man. They really, really are. The Los Angeles Rams yesterday
did not look special at all.
24-7. The Minnesota Vikings moved to 8-2, just like New Orleans. Case Keenum does not look like a scrub. No, he does not. Not at all. It's 280 yards passing with a 76 QBR, Eliav.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league, and that's a fact. You see it here. He's playing like a starting quarterback already the past few weeks. He's doing a great, great job. Now, are you going to have consistency from him? Always. You're going to have these type of games from him? Not always, but it's been happening for him. And just ride the wave. Vikings, just ride it while you can. And Case Keenum is doing an incredible job. I thought the Rams' defense did a good job, obviously, until the fourth quarter. But they had that kind of bend but not break through three quarters. And the offense for the Rams just couldn't find it. Vikings' defense was fantastic. And then fourth quarter came along, and the Rams' defense finally broke, and you saw Case Keenum fly through, and really this team is doing well right now.
And for the Rams side of things, 254 total yards of offense, 209 of those came from the arm of Jared Goff. So Goff on the stat sheet didn't have a terrible game, but Todd Gurley has to run the football better than that. The Buffalo Bills made a switch at quarterback.
My God.
And it's you want to talk about a dumpster fire of a move, not as a team, as a move, a dumpster fire of a move, inserting Peterman, the rookie out of Pitt, to start against the Los Angeles Chargers. And to say it didn't go well would be a drastic understatement.
Oh, my God. Disgusting.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just listen to this. 6 for 14, 66 yards. 0 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yes, you heard that right. And a QBR. Okay, now this is staggering, Eliav. I'm flabbergasted when I see this. A .3 QBR. .3! Are you kidding me? And you're going to put him in over Tyrod Taylor? Come on.
Yeah, no, it was a bad. Sean McDermott is kicking himself as hard as you can possibly kick yourself this morning. And Tyrod Taylor didn't even do that bad when he went in.
No.
15, 25, 158 yards, 1 touchdown to Peterman's 0.
At least Taylor had a 71 QBR.
Yeah, no, it was obviously a huge mistake. And I feel bad for Peterman, honestly, because he wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for that, and he was thrown into the fire that he wasn't supposed to be thrown into because there was no real reason besides one bad game from Tyrod Taylor, and that's all it takes, apparently, for Sean McDermott. I understand trying to see what you have in your rookie, but I think it was forced. It was forced. It wasn't natural. There was no need for it. And Sean McDermott, I mean, he's getting plenty of flack this morning, and he knows how badly he messed up. And now, not only did you fail, now you have a weird relationship with your quarterback and Tyrod Taylor where it's like, why would you bench me, you know? And then you see, and then this happens. It's just kind of like, oh, that's funny. Then you saw a lot of the memes with Tyrod Taylor as Kermit the Frog sipping the tea, you know, and all that. And of course, the internet had fun. But at the end of the day, the Chargers finally looked good, really good. 54-24. Give, as bad as Peterman was, give the Chargers that credit.
And Phillip Rivers, too. 251 yards passing for 2 touchdowns. The Chargers are now at 4-6. Transitioning off the field
Oh, man.
You know, I think we know where everybody this is going. Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell, the fiasco continues.
I don't think they like each other,
to say the least. And now the latest is Jerry Jones came out with a statement, and it was referring to the Deflategate scandal and Robert Kraft. Before that, he mentioned and was talking about Roger Goodell. He said, quote, "I'm going to come after you with everything I have," end quote. Powerful right there. And then,
referring
to Robert Kraft, Robert Kraft is a blank. compared to what I'm going to do.
We can't even really say what that blank is. It's just bad.
It's very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
So when I mean, from the beginning, I felt this way from the beginning when it comes to this whole situation, Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell. This stems from Jerry Jones's massive disappointment with Ezekiel Elliott getting suspended. This has to stem from that.
I don't think it does. I think it's bad timing for Jerry Jones. I think it's awful timing that it's happening now, and that's because now what you're feeling is normal.
Yeah.
That it looks like, he just looks like a brat because his player, it's going against his player. But I really think this stems from truly Roger Goodell being awful, and this is it's a bad look because of everything that's happening with Zeke. You might be right. I don't think so, though. I think he really does think that Goodell just has not done a good job, and he just makes him look bad because of the timing of when the contract talks are happening and all that. But they went as far to motion Adam Silver, commissioner of the NBA, to potentially come and take over the NFL. He quickly said no. He quickly shut that down.
Of course.
But that's how good Adam Silver has been. Come on now. That's fantastic. Adam Silver got offered by a different league to come commish for them because of how bad Goodell is and how good Adam Silver is. Come on, that's fantastic. You gotta love that. That is comedic.
That it really speaks volumes to the true genius of Adam Silver and what he's doing with the
huge
NBA.
Problems
with Roger Goodell.
With the Roger Goodell and the NFL.
Wow.
Man. Speaking of problems, yeah.
Transitioning to a more serious topic, Jameis Winston, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is currently under investigation right now by the NFL. So he allegedly groped a female Uber driver here in Scottsdale back in May of 2016. So he has been on the record stating adamantly that these allegations just are not true. I found the Jameis Winston situations in college, I was incredibly turned off by all that, and I think everybody was. So when I look at this situation, I was under the impression that Jameis Winston really was starting to mature based on everything that we saw.
Right, as a leader too.
As a leader and off the field as a person on Hard Knocks especially, and we got to see it firsthand. The leader that he's become of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. Yes, they have not done a very good job this season. Their record does not show it. But at the same time, I really felt that Jameis Winston was taking a step forward with his maturity level. This sets it back. Now, if it's true, oh boy, this ain't good for him because there's just the investigation and all the stuff that's been floating around. This is not good for Jameis Winston if this comes down to be true.
Well, there's no doubt this is not good for him, but this is just disgusting. Once again, by the NFL, another problem like this. I mean, these guys just can't seem to keep their hands to themselves and just do what you need to do as a proper human being. I mean, like, what are we doing here? The Uber driver said that he was acting really badly, even before he touched her, that he was acting awfully, slurs out the window, just very immature and quote, behaved poorly. But when you do that, I mean, like, just what are you thinking? What do you actually think? Like, what do you think that will come out of that positive at all? And especially when you talk about being a man or being a grown adult, to have the wherewithal to not think about what this can do and also what you're doing to another human being. It's just so many question marks. And like you said, as far as his maturity, this takes everything away. If this is true, it takes everything away. Before
Bonehead of the Week, another serious topic I'm about to bring up. This is breaking news. It broke into CNN about maybe 30 minutes ago. President Donald Trump is calling for the NFL to suspend Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch.
I don't think this is not even serious, man. This is ridiculous.
So the Raiders were in Mexico City to play the Patriots, and which the Patriots won, by the way, no surprise. And Donald Trump took to Twitter and said, Marshawn Lynch of the NFL's Oakland Raiders stands for the Mexican anthem and sits to boos for our national anthem. Great disrespect. Next time, NFL should suspend him for the remainder of the season. Attendance and ratings are way down. Wow.
All right, well, this guy just is done dealing with real-world problems, and now is taking to Twitter to battle the sports world in any way he can. Are you kidding me?
Get off of Twitter.
Like, how is this still on? Why does this matter so much to you at this point? Like, this is way overdue, way late. It's all over. Like, this is all wrapped up. Like, why are we still talking about this as far as Donald Trump still trying to tweet and get at NFL players? It's not going to work. You're not going to do anything. There's they're going to keep doing what they're doing. If anything, they're going to do it with more passion because they have this pushback from you from Twitter. It's not even a real. It doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. You think Marshawn Lynch cares?
No.
He doesn't care. He's going to keep doing his thing. It doesn't matter. This is Marshawn Lynch we're talking about.
He doesn't give two bleeps about anything.
Yeah. So this means that Trump can continue to tweet and to try and complain about what the NFL players are doing, but he's already done that a couple times. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work.
No.
Simple as that. Marshawn Lynch is going to do Marshawn Lynch, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. And I'm on Marshawn Lynch's side here. It's like, seriously, President Trump, for all the things that he said on Twitter, it's flabbergasting, Eliav, and it makes no sense to me.
Stop being a bonehead.
It's time for Weston's Bonehead of the Week. Boom. Yes. Bonehead of the Week this week. Okay, so transitioning, let's have some fun here on the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay. Bonehead of the Week this week, we're going to go to Syracuse, New York. And no, we're not talking about the Syracuse Orange men's basketball or men's football team. We're talking about the American Hockey League, which is equivalent to AAA in baseball, for those who do not know. The minor leagues in the NHL. I am talking about Mr. Adam Earn. He is a forward for the Syracuse Crunch, AHL, affiliate of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the best team in the NHL, according to the record.
Syracuse Crunch. I like it.
Like the Crunch Bar.
Yeah, I like it.
So he gets the puck. He's on a breakaway. And, on breakaways in NHL, it's all looking pretty good. And we know how this works. So he gets the puck. He has nothing but space. He could take pictures, call his wife, and make dinner reservations. He has all the time in the world to do what he wants. So he takes the puck. He goes in, goes on the backhand. He fakes and then he whiffs. And I'm looking at it right now, completely whiffs and blows a tire and falls right on his rear end.
Oh, my God.
Similar to Dennis Weidman a little bit from a few years ago. But, you got to go see this, ladies and gentlemen. It was number 5 on SportsCenter's Not Top 10 this week. But Adam Earn completely blows a tire when he should have scored a goal for his team. Adam Earn is this week's Bonehead of the Week. The Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Shane Doan is coming up in approximately 10 minutes or so. But before we do that, we are going to continue our All ASU segment. We did that last week. Turned out pretty good. We're going to do it again. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Q-tip. Throw it away. From Hitch.
Never do that again.
Get out.
Get out.
Welcome back to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Usher making his...
We had to reference Hitch. Come on.
Of course. Hitch... dude. If people have not seen Hitch... A little bit... Okay, so it goes a little bit something like this. That's what it's all about right there. The pizza.
They don't need no pizza. They got food there.
Welcome back. So let's dive into our All ASU segment before Shane Doan joins the show. So ASU Football, they had a good weekend. They went up to Corvallis in the foggy and cold Corvallis, Oregon.
All the pictures. You couldn't see anything.
And a 40-27 victory for the Sun Devils. Now, Manny Wilkins on the stat sheet, not the most impressive, just 12 completions for 19 yards and 167 yards, 12 of 19 passing, and 2 touchdowns with an 89 QBR. Now, that stands out. But once again, Demario Richard. This guy is bonkers right now. He had another 119 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He does not need to be called baby beast mode. He is beast mode,
no doubt,
in and of itself. So Arizona State now 6-5, and when I look at this team, they take on Arizona in the Territorial Cup next week, and I will be on the call with that here on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
The plug.
And it should be a very good game. Khalil Tate and the Wildcats come to Sun Devil Stadium. So when we look at this game, Eliav, before we get to that, what were your assessments of yesterday's game?
So, the Territorial Cup should be a good one, but with this one, I honestly didn't know what to expect going in.
Me neither.
ASU, you never know what team's going to come out to play. But what I saw was a team that knew what was at stake, understood that, yes, this is probably a cupcake game, but we have to play like this, like the season's on the line, which it is. Essentially, it is on the line as far as the bowl eligibility is concerned, and they did it. They performed beautifully. Yeah, Oregon State climbed back into it, but at the end of the day, DeMario Richard is running like a man on a mission. So ever since he came back from injury earlier in the season, he has been fantastic. Arguably the best player on this team, most important player on this team. He's just been, he's clearly the leader. Todd Graham said it himself. And as far as he's just seeing the field so well, hesitating the right way, finding those holes, and just running with so much confidence. I mean, he's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And now we look at the Territorial Cup, as I mentioned. So Arizona is the prohibited favorite in this game, and the game will be at 2:30 at Sun Devil Stadium. So Khalil Tate is the guy you got to look out for when it comes to the Wildcats.
No doubt. Yep.
And how is the defense going to contain him? How are they going to prevent him from scrambling out and doing his thing and doing it with his legs? But the problem is, Eliav, he can also throw the football.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And now, how are you going to contain him? If you're Christian Sam, JoJo Wicker, you got to get to him, right? You got to get to him and come with the house. Bring the blitz. That's a key for me in this game against Arizona.
Well, there's no doubt they're going to have to bring the blitz big time against a guy like Khalil Tate, but it's going to have to be, I think, what you don't expect in the corners. Someone like Chase Lucas stepping up, cutting off his options. You already know Chase Lucas is going to be on their best wide out, so you got to do your job. And offensively, find that rhythm early. And what's been successful? Why has ASU been successful when they have been? Time of possession and getting out early and getting their groove going. They got to do those two things.
ASU basketball, and for both men and women's, they're both 4-0. I mean, talk about blazing starts. So for the men's, they defeated Northern Arizona 97-62, and then they defeated UC Irvine 99-78. So when we look at the men's side of things real quick, Romello White, 20 points per game. And then Shannon Evans, 19 points a game. This team's firing on all cylinders right now, all areas of the court.
Trey Holder, 35 points last night. He's doing his job as a leader. You know why? Because he's getting boards, too. He's getting boards. He's averaging about 8 or 9 boards a game right now. Fantastic for a guard. That's how you show, hey, I'm doing everything I can for this team. I need everyone in on it. And like you said, the big men, through the first 3 games of this season, the difference between last year and this year between big men and Weston, last year through the first 3 games, 21.6 points per game, mostly Obi Oleka. This year, averaging 35.3 points per game through the first 3 games. That is fantastic. There's an inside presence that ASU hasn't felt like it's been forever since they've had. And there you go for men's basketball. Fantastic job. Let's see if they can keep it up. These have been pretty easy games generally, besides SDSU, where they ransacked them, but it was a good team. Let's see how it heats up here for ASU men's basketball.
On the women's side of things, they beat Sacramento State 106-58, and then Colgate 65-54. This is another team that's firing on cylinders. Kiana Ibis has been a great surprise.
Yeah, Kiana Ibis has been fantastic. She has been that player that needed to step up for ASU. She is that person, because you lose Quinn Dornstad, you lose Sophie Bruner, and you need someone to step up in the front court. And there you go. Kiana Ibis already has 2 new career highs this year.
14 points a game, too.
Fantastic on her part. And this is no surprise. CTT teams do well. And there you go. A great start. We'll see if they can keep the hot streak going.
Yep, and they're going to go to the Cancun Challenge now.
Man, we can go help cover that, right, or something.
Steve Rodriguez, SID, if you're listening, we both could use some credentials for that thing. But the women's team's firing on all cylinders right now. The Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Okay, coming up next, the one and only Shane Doan. He's up next with Weston DeWitt and Eliav Gabay, Blaze Radio, and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Century.
Welcome back to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Thank you for starting your Monday off on a high note here with us. As promised, on the line with us right now. So this is a man who really no needs to introduction, but you know what? I'm going to give him one anyway because he deserves it. So this is the former captain of the Arizona Coyotes, spent his entire career with the Arizona Coyotes in the desert, had a very severely strong impact in the game, for the game of hockey, on and off the ice in the state of Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one, the only, Shane Doan is on the line with us right now. Shane, good morning. Welcome to Blaze Radio and the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well, and that is an awesome introduction. Thank you.
Absolutely, Shane, you absolutely deserve that. Thank you so much for coming on the show. So let's dive right into it. So I told you a few weeks ago, I was when we were at Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, and how great you were toward me. I just greatly appreciate you coming on the show and everything. So let's just dive right into it. You've had a lot of time now to just live your life away from the game of hockey, and you've had time. You even hosted the Doug and Wolf show with Doug Franz on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM for 4 hours, getting up early and doing that. You mentioned you went to Blaine, Minnesota to watch your son play hockey. Just what has been the best part and worst part of your retirement so far?
Oh, wow. The best part is just being at home. I've, I guess, including that time playing junior, because once you leave home to play junior hockey, kind of becomes your life. It's been 25 years, 26 years since I've really had the freedom of doing what I want during the months from October till May, or usually till May, but most times lately till the beginning of April. But it was to enjoy being at home and being with my family, and it's been incredible, and hands down the best part. Hardest part is missing being in the room with the guys. That's the best part of playing, is just being with the guys and having fun with them.
Thank you, Shane. Eliav Gabay here. Well, you mentioned being in the room with the guys. Let's talk about the guys a little bit. Coyotes won 2 in a row now. They're playing a young Toronto team tonight. When you think of a young team like the Coyotes, you kind of look for the small progressions, right? The details. So what have you seen over this season of the Arizona Coyotes and the little details that have improved?
Well, for the most part, they're getting a little bit. They've been better in their own zone, and they've been seemingly getting better and better at that. Brandt has been good for them, and not that Louis wasn't early on. Louis was good. I don't think they were quite as sound in their own zone as they could have been, as Talk probably wanted them to be, and they've been continually improving that. They got a group of forwards that if as a group can score, but they need someone to be hot, and for a little while Keller was, and now hopefully someone like Duke can kind of pick up as Keller kind of cools off, and that's going to be probably their battle for the most part, is just finding the consistent scoring, but they'll always be in it if they find a way to play a little bit better in their own zone.
Shane Doan right here with Weston DeWitt and Eliav Gabay on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Shane, transitioning to more of a serious question here, it's definitely no secret that there were some whispers about how the relationship between you and the Coyotes organization ended. So now in hindsight, Shane, what are your feelings toward the Arizona Coyotes organization?
Well, I'm the biggest fan there is of the Coyotes. I mean, as an organization, I view the organization as the fans and the people that have been there my whole life, my whole hockey life, and that group of people I am the biggest fan there is of them, and want them to do as well as possible. And in regards to the decision and how they made it, it is their decision. I think every athlete has an ego, and my ego was probably a little bigger than it should have been at the end, where you think you're a little bit more important than you are, and you need to recognize that you're an employee, and that's it. And they have the right to make that decision as employers, and I needed to understand that, and I think I probably got a little bit better grip of it now.
Now, when you talk about the NHL as a whole, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman not allowing players to go to the Winter Olympics. You know, players like Alex Ovechkin want to go, and others have expressed their interest. But how do you view it as a player? And now that you're looking from the outside in, how do you view that situation?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Olympics and the ability for the players to play. And as a player, every player is going to want to play. And yet you also understand that the NHL is a business as much as I think as a player and as a fan, you probably lose that kind of viewpoint fairly quickly, and the fact that this is the livelihood and the business of a lot of people, and sometimes business decisions get made over top of what you as a player or as a fan might have wanted. But you understand that, hey, that's the way it goes, and it's out of my control. It's out of most of the players' controls, and you have to recognize, again, kind of what you went back to saying.
Yeah.
You're an employee, you're not the employer.
Mm-hmm. Shane, as someone, we're talking to Shane Doan right here on the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Shane, as someone who grew up watching you and the organization and seeing how you impacted the game itself on and off the ice in Arizona, let me just say straight up, you deserve all the respect thrown your way. So having said that, when you look back at your success and your illustrious career here in the state of Arizona with the Coyotes, what is the one thing that you want Coyotes fans and Valley residents to remember about you?
I think that I really enjoyed playing the game, that it was so much fun. I obviously can look at it and I'm disappointed in the fact we didn't win more, and disappointed in the fact that we never won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But there are some tough things in regards to and just the way the whole organization at times with bankruptcy and all that. Mm-hmm. That all being said, it was an absolute time of my life to steal what's the sideline reporter's name from the Monday Night Football. but it was unbelievable, and I loved it, and I had fun every single minute that I got to play. And there is a joy in the game that I was pretty fortunate to get to experience for a really long time.
Now, Shane, last one for you here. It's going to be a fun one. Now, some players post-career, they start packing the pounds a little bit.
My goodness,
it's normal. It's fine. But have you been staying on that grind in the retire life? Have you been hitting the gym, or have you let yourself go a little bit? I don't. It's a little personal.
No. I am not even the slightest bit exaggerating in any way. I stopped running. I went for a run this morning. I run the Gateway Mountain quite a bit.
Okay.
And I literally stopped running 45 seconds before I called you guys. It's about 4.5 miles, so I am trying. I'm not saying I'm going to succeed.
There you go.
I got a lot of bets against guys because everyone puts on at least 20 pounds when they retire.
Who are these guys? Who are these guys you having bets with?
Keith Yandel.
Oh, Jans.
Stan Wilson, Marty Hansel, Ray Whitney. Anyone that pretty much knows me has pretty much got a bet with me on this.
Are they betting against you?
They are. They're all
wow.
I know. I'm a little bit bigger boned, so they think it's going to be hard for me, and I am. The one thing that they all will tease and joke with me about is the fact that they're betting against me now makes it so that I will find a way not to do it. So they're actually trying to do it to help me. That's what their theory is.
Wow.
There you go. It looks like it's working then.
It is working for at least 3 months so far. I don't know how long that'll last, but 3 months.
Shane, I think I can speak for Eliav on this one here. We greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day, but just as you were working out, to come on the show and talk with us. It means the world to us. And congratulations on the new gig with the NHL. We wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Thank you again for your time, and we'll talk to you down the line again soon, okay?
My pleasure, and I apologize, guys, that I couldn't come into studio with flying around and stuff. But thank you for having me on. You guys have my number, and if you ever want me to do anything again with you, really enjoyed it, and thanks for your time.
Thank you. Shane Doan, the captain, right here on the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com with us. Come back on the other side. MLB Awards, NBA news, and yes, we're going to get into the LaVar Ball and Donald Trump situation. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com.
I don't like it. I love it, love it, love it. Uh-oh. So good it hurts. I don't want it. I gotta have it. Uh-oh. When I can't find the words, I just go.
Kick that music, Eliav.
I don't like it.
know I love it.
I like that Shane Doan interview. I love it.
I love that Shane Doan interview.
I don't like it. No, I love it.
There you go. Wow, I let your voice get in there a little bit.
Welcome back to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Thank you again to Shane Doan. I don't even know how many times we thanked him at this point, but thank you to Shane Doan.
It's not enough.
For coming on the show and talking with us after he had just worked out and ran.
So he answered the question by an action. That's what you like. There you go.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Moving on. Okay, we got to move on. I got to get myself together here. The MLB Awards came down a few days ago, and they are as follows. We discussed last week who we thought was going to win.
We were close. We had a lot of similar answers, except for a couple things.
Yeah, just a couple of things. The American League AL MVP went to Jose Altuve. No surprise.
Yep.
The National League went to Giancarlo Stanton.
Now, okay, so we've definitely completely okay. I know Mike Trout winning it back-to-back already set this in stone essentially, but it's really no question at this point with the MLB. Wins, like team success has nothing to do with it. Team success has nothing to do with the MVP. It's very individual, and I don't think that's right. Personally, I don't think it's fair.
I agree.
I understand baseball is different from any other sport where, one guy cannot change an entire team's success completely, but there should be a certain level. Like Goldie should have gotten it, in my opinion.
I agree.
Due to the fact that he was right there with these guys. Right? Maybe Giancarlo obviously had more home runs, but maybe he was a bit better in some stats. But overall, when comparing everything side by side, when things are that close, if it's not close, okay, I get it. Like Mike Trout, not close, I understand. He gets it. But for this year, when it's that close, you got to think about the guy who's leading the team.
Yeah.
That came back from being irrelevant, and we're supposed to be relevant again. Yeah. And I know Torey Lovullo was one of the keys to that, and that's why he won Manager of the Year. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. But at the end of the day, I think you should give that guy the nod, and that's where Goldie was at.
Mm-hmm. And you look at Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, he's been the rock of this team for 5+ years now, and I don't want to take away from Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton is a beast in his own right. But you said it. I think this is a very good point that you said. This proves with this Giancarlo Stanton winning the MVP and Mike Trout winning last year that not necessarily your team winning is what's going to impact the winner of the MVP.
Not necessarily. Not at all.
Yeah.
At this point, I really don't think it is at all anymore.
No. I mean, again, I don't want to take away from Giancarlo Stanton.
No, he was fantastic.
Home runs.
He was
59
fantastic.
home runs.
Yeah.
And he had 132 RBIs. Yes, he's in the trade rumor mill. We'll get to that in a second. But Giancarlo Stanton is in the third closest MVP vote in history. It was that close. Joey Votto almost got it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. How did Goldschmidt get third?
Over Joe.
He got third. Again, Joey Votto's stats, fantastic.
Yeah.
But how did he get third by that close?
I don't know.
That's the disappointing part. Okay, fine. Give it to Giancarlo. He rocketed every ball out of the stadium. But at the end of the day, Goldschmidt should have at least gotten second on that. But whatever.
Mm-hmm. The Cy Young Award winners, I was wrong about both of them.
I was right about one. Whatever. And I was leaning towards Kluber, and I changed my mind at the last second. It's so frustrating.
It's the power that I have on this show because I picked Sale, and you were just like, oh, I got to agree with Weston.
No, the power that you have, right. Because then I went against Kershaw, and you picked Kershaw,
yeah,
that makes sense.
So Corey Kluber wins the AL Cy Young. Max Scherzer wins the NL Cy Young. So I don't disagree with it.
Everyone, Scherzer, I really thought that he was that dominant. He was that good all season long. Kershaw's injuries definitely hurt him. And then Kluber, also fantastic. Sale was great, but I'm not going to be mad about Kluber winning. No. He deserves it too.
18-4 with a MLB leading 2.25 ERA. And the Indians lost to the Yankees. But like we said, this stuff about teams winning, it doesn't matter. And over to Max Scherzer, 16-6 with a 2.51 ERA, led the NL in strikeouts with 268. Both those guys are aces in their own rights. Complete respect to both of them. To the Rookie Rookies of the Year.
I mean, there was no question before. There's no surprise now.
We didn't even have a debate last show about who was going to win.
No, there was no conversation. It was clear. It was clear cut, both sides.
If Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger didn't win, somebody needed to be drug tested. Like, what in the world was somebody thinking? If Aaron Judge with 52 RBIs and 128 runs batted in, and with Cody Bellinger being the slasher that he is, he's such an unbelievable 39 home runs and 97 RBIs. No dispute whatsoever. Both those guys, congratulations to them. Managers of the Year. Now, this one was a little bit more debatable, but
I think the right people won.
I agree. So Paul Molitor, the helm of the Minnesota Twins, took home the AL, and Mr. Torey Lovullo, skipper for the Arizona Diamondbacks, took the NL. I predicted both of these ones. Now, I was right about this one, and I really have a lot of respect for a team that can lose 100 games like the Minnesota Twins did. And with Paul Molitor to come in there and this whole mindset going into spring training. Look, Eliav, when you go into spring training and you lose 100 games, your mindset, you're dragging. You're just like, oh, crap, I got to go through a 162-game season now. And the Twins were probably having that mindset. No, they didn't. They went in and they kicked some major butt and did lose to the Yankees in the wild card game. But respect to Paul Molitor and Torey Lovullo, I mean, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, 24-game turnaround. You don't really need to know much more than that. He put them through the wild card game. They didn't win a game against the Dodgers, but still, fantastic job by Torey Lovullo because the entire vibe of the Diamondbacks after last season was just bad. It was all down.
In the basement.
No one was feeling positive about the season. There was a lot of like, oh, what if this person steps up? What if this Torey Lovullo came in and just flipped the script on everybody and did a great job as manager. Well-deserved, no surprise.
Back to Giancarlo Stanton for a second. He is...
Ooh, the big ticket.
This could be big, ladies and gentlemen. The Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, that is, not the Arizona Cardinals, have made a...
They could use them.
They could use everything. But the St. Louis Cardinals made a trade offer for Giancarlo Stanton to Derek Jeter, El Capitan, the new CEO of the Miami Marlins. I almost said Florida Marlins. Giancarlo Stanton. So I could see him going to St. Louis, but the question that I want to pose is
they officially brought in their trade deal.
So where should he go is the question. Now it seems like the Red Sox are involved. Even the Phillies are in the conversation for this.
What is involved? Sorry, what does define should go?
Should go is, I believe, where he will ultimately wind up, I guess.
Okay, so not the best fit, perhaps, but just more where he'll probably end up.
Where do you think he will ultimately end up?
Well, I don't see him going to the Dodgers, where people are talking about that, because outside of that just being an ultimate extreme super team, that would just it just doesn't make sense financially for the Dodgers. As far as I know, everyone, they have all this money, but why go and flip the script for something you already have? What does Giancarlo bring? Firepower. They have plenty of firepower. The Giants, they might try and flip house to get him. Is it the best decision? No. Financially, probably not. But when you have a team that is desperate to return to those glory days with an aging roster, you might want to do that. You might want to do that out there thing, that out there option of bringing in one of the best players in the league, currently MVP, because obviously he's a game changer. He's a game changer. He's a season changer, and the Giants are going to be looking for something just like that.
I look at the Cardinals and the Red Sox, and
the Red Sox. The Red Sox. There's a lot of rumors going along because you hear that they're out, they're in it, they're like it's right in between.
And if you're Dave Dombrowski, who do you trade? Because your farm system is trash, and because that's just the Dave Dombrowski effect. Look what he did to the Detroit Tigers farm system. Now look at them. So when you look at the Red Sox, I don't know who you would offer for Giancarlo Stanton, but if you're Dave Dombrowski and you want to continue this trend that your roster, you're saying to your fans, we're going to win right now, you go out and get Giancarlo Stanton. And I think that's where the Red Sox should go. Now, should is the question, but where do I actually think he will go? I think he will go to the St. Louis Cardinals.
That's the option that I'm looking at as well as most likely as of right now, because the Cardinals, first of all, they have a trade together. That makes sense. And that everyone else has been pretty much rumor. Everyone else has been on the rumor mill. Like, you don't really see anything materializing with the Cardinals. You definitely see it there. All right.
Oh, boy. You want to introduce this? Go ahead.
All right. LaVar Ball versus Donald Trump.
Can we...
Everyone get your popcorn, gather your friends around your nearest computer and Twitter.
Or television set.
And now television set, because he's going to be on CNN tonight. Let's go to the beginning, Weston. Read off the tweets.
So...
we all know the situation, right?
We all know what happened, where LiAngelo Ball and two of his other teammates were arrested for shoplifting in China. Mm-hmm. So Donald Trump took to Twitter on the 15th at 8 a.m. to say, do you think the 3 UCLA players will say thank you to President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail. Then, one day later, to the 3 UCLA basketball players, I say you're welcome. Go out and give a big thank you to President Xi Jinping of China, who made. Now, the 3 basketball players are out of China and saved years in jail. LaVar Ball, the father of LiAngelo, is unaccepting of what I did for his son. That shoplifting is no big deal. I should have left them in jail. And then, last but not least, shoplifting is a very big deal in China, as it should be. 5 to 10 years in jail. But not to LaVar the father. I'm paraphrasing there. Not to Father LaVar. Should have gotten his son out during my next trip to China instead. China told them why they were released. Very ungrateful. I'm done.
Now, LaVar Ball, in response to the first one, when people said, what do you think about Trump, helping out your kids, whatever, he said, who?
Oh.
He didn't acknowledge it at all. He said Trump didn't do much to help. That's what he's claiming. He didn't do much to help. I don't know who to believe here. I don't know who to believe. But the point is that President Trump is dealing with this kind of stuff. Why do you care so much? When you do a favor, you don't go in. This is like common courtesy. If you do a favor for somebody, you don't go in like, well, where's my thank you? You hope that they thank you. If they don't, that's on them. Even though LiAngelo did thank Donald Trump and the government in their press conference when they came back, he did thank. So he got that. But then, of course, LaVar took this as a fantastic opportunity to go at the president. And then the president responds. Again, the internet trolls of the year. Like the past 2 years, who's been dominating the troll world? It's been LaVar Ball and Donald Trump. And now, in an unforeseen fashion, they are coming together for this ultimate clash. And it is hilarious. It is so funny. Because none of this actually matters anymore. The kids are back. The UCLA will see as to how long they'll be suspended. That's a whole other subject. For now, it doesn't look good for either of them. This is just embarrassing to both of them. As far as LaVar is concerned, I don't think too many people are surprised. It's not like outside of him.
This is a normal thing for him.
This is a normal thing. But and so it is. And honestly, sad to say, it also is a normal thing for Trump.
Do we know?
It is a normal thing. But it's just way less appropriate when he says, I should have left them in jail. That is the line where he crossed, where that's just, no, stop it. You're the president. You cannot be saying that kind of stuff.
This is what we've digressed to as a country. And we got to do it. And we got our president going on Twitter and saying that he should have left players in jail. This is what we've digressed to. But more seriously, on more of a funny note, that will be very entertaining on CNN.
Oh my God! I just can only imagine what LaVar is going to say. It's going to be fantastic.
Transitioning.
Is it bad that I'm like this giddy about this clash? Because is this funny? This is funny, right?
Harley's shaking his head no, and now he's like, yes, I'm going to be entertained by this. I'm entertained by this. This will be grade A entertainment on CNN. Make sure you go see it.
At the end of the day, people take it as that. This is entertainment at this point.
Yep.
We need to take the seriousness away from some things. And this is one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Transitioning to the actual games and the basketball in and of itself, we are going to go to LA and talk about this game between the 76ers and the Lakers. Now, it did happen a few nights ago, but it doesn't matter. It was that good.
But the reason we're going to bring this up, people, is, and I tweeted this out, the GIF, whatever.
I say GIF.
Whatever it is.
What do you say, GIF or GIF?
I think it's GIF. I don't know
what the proper term is. Harley, do you know what it is?
Harley's shaking GIF. Okay. All right, it's GIF. Okay, we've got confirmation, breaking news.
From the social media king himself.
It is GIF. All right, so the GIF of Squidward saying, future.
Great episode.
Future. That is exactly what I was thinking the entire time watching this game, because there was so much just future happening. Mm-hmm. And go ahead, read off. Should I read off the stats? Joel Embiid. Amazing. The kid can do everything. If he's healthy, wow. Look out, world. 46 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 14 of 20 field goals, 7 blocks. Come on. Wow. Ben Simmons, 18 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, 8 of 13 field goal. Lonzo Ball, nowhere to be found.
Porous.
But you know what I liked about that?
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Right after the game, he went straight to the Lakers practice facility and shot around. And that is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm After Kobe, I know, yeah, comparing to Kobe, okay, let me get the flack. After Kobe came back from airballing both the game-winning potential shots or game-time potential shots against the Utah Jazz, he airballed both of them. Everyone knows, it's well documented. They flew back to L.A. right away. He went to the gym. He didn't go home, Weston. He went to the gym to start shooting. Now, this is not to that level, to that extent, but that is what I'm talking about when you're talking about a young guy who doesn't care about anything besides just improving, getting better. He's not going to sulk. He's going to go to the gym and do work. So kudos to that.
And the future, like, I mean, since we're doing impressions, you did an impression of Squidward. I'm going to do what Kevin Hart did after the game. Trust the process. That was a really bad imitation, wasn't it?
It was.
I kind of just
froze.
Okay. I kind of froze.
It's okay.
Kept to see Kevin Hart courtside there at the game, but
he was loving it. He was up and jumping.
And he's from Philadelphia,
right.
So good to see him cheering on his home team in LA.
Now, let me finish off this future segment we're on.
Future.
Shout out Harley. Future. Now, Brandon Ingram, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 11 of 18 field goal. And then Kyle Kuzma, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 9 of 18 field goal. And the starting power forward now for the Lakers. He's been for some time, but now it looks like he's going to stay there when Larry Nance gets healthy because he has been fantastic as a starter.
Mm-hmm. And both teams, I mean, we were talking about just a dumpster fire, which the 76ers were, but both these teams heading in the right direction. Really good to see both franchises going this way.
Now, the Sixers went up big against the Warriors, ended up losing that game. But the fact that you go up by that much against the Warriors is impressive in its own right when you're that young of a team. And then everyone was giving Joel Embiid crap for, tweeting. Now we know how it feels to lose a big lead and stuff. And then he was confused as to why he was getting, I don't know. He is like the new LeBron as far as like social media troll of an NBA player.
You got to go follow that guy.
He's LeBron is still doing his petty stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
On social media, you got to love it. But anyway, wow. Future.
Mm-hmm. David Lee. Now, this is a guy, 2-time All-Star. Now, he's not the most popular player by demand, but a guy who I really liked watching play over his career. He has called it quits via Instagram. And he said, an epic night celebrating my retirement with my friends and family. Thank you to my amazing fiancée, Caroline Wozniak, what a lucky guy, for planning the surprise.
That's cute.
So,
listen, he got his chip. He got a ring. You know, he's had a respectable career. He's been a solid power forward his entire career. You can't ask for much more. It's a great, solid career. He's a great guy from what I understand and from what everyone talks about. A great teammate, and that's a solid career. You can sleep happy, and not that I have to validate that, David Lee, but you can sleep happy knowing that you had a sweet career there.
But also, he was in New York the first 5 years. He was in that grind, which the Knicks were just awful.
And he developed a ton.
He did. Dude, get this: 5 points per game his rookie year, then 10 the next year, 10.8, 16, then 20 points per game, where he was eventually shipped to Golden State.
There you go. And then eventually won a chip with Golden State. Well deserved. And now let's talk about another guy who's aging. Still playing, but aging. Dwayne Wade.
Baller.
Second all-time in guard career blocks. 813, only behind one man. Can you give me a guess? Give me a guess, Harley. Who is he behind?
It's got to be Michael Jordan.
It is Michael Jordan.
Ding, ding, ding.
81 blocks behind Michael Jordan. Then he tweeted out with, like, you know, the curious face, 81 blocks, huh?
Nice.
Let's see. He's just going to go swinging for everything now. It's the end of my career. It's all good. Let's go. SWAT City. But, yeah, Dwayne Wade, you know, people don't realize how good he's been on defense in his career. But solid stuff from Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, and I mean, look, everybody that knows me knows and has listened to the show, I rave about Dwayne Wade every chance I get. I mean, that top 100 list that came out from ESPN, how he was not higher than, I think it was like in the 90s or something, when he's like that high.
No, he wasn't in it.
He wasn't even in it.
Yeah.
I was disgusted, and I'm still when you even say that.
Well, no, to be honest with you, he hasn't played like he should be in it. I'm not going to lie to you, man. They're kind of on point with that rate. It sounds ridiculous. I know it's hard to accept. It sounds ridiculous. It's Dwayne Wade. But I'll tell you right now, in our fantasy league, for example, Weston, it's only a 10-man league. He's not even on a team.
Well, then I got to go pick him up.
Well, you're not going to have a good time. He's not a good fantasy player.
I'm 3-2.
He's not a good. I'm just letting you know he's not a good fantasy player. I need a shooting guard. I'm not picking him up. You know, it's not anything personal. It's just that, listen, Dwayne, you're just not what you were. And he knows that. He's accepted that. And that's what you like about Dwayne Wade, that he knows his role in any situation. And that's something that's so respectable for a guy who was arguably the best player in the league at one point.
Mm-hmm. The Warriors and the Celtics had themselves an epic game a few nights ago. Now, the Celtics did win 92-88, continuing their 14-game winning streak, and it goes to 15.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very close game, but a very good game all around. Durant had 24 points, and Jaylen Brown, he balled out. A very big coming out game for Jaylen Brown, 22 games, and he did lose his best friend before the game. So to him to go out there and play like he did was very inspiring to see. Mm-hmm. The rookie Tatum played really well as well. When we look at this Celtics team, they've won 15 straight, so it poses the question of when will their streak fall? Now, I know you have a particular feeling about this, Eliav.
Right, but real quick, before we get to that, as far as the Warriors are concerned, I didn't understand that last play when you had like 13 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we already moved on almost, but I definitely want to mention that. I understand the play you want is Kevin Durant short corner jumper, but it was you took no time off the clock. You know, spend some time, let them get in a groove, get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
It wasn't an awful shot, but it just seemed very rushed. And then he missed. It was just a little bit. It was short, but just short of the make, and they ended up losing that one. Jason Tatum making 2 big free throws at the end of there, but. I'll tell you what, they D'd up Kyrie well. Mm-hmm. Well, most of his points came off free throws. Let's look at the box score right now. Most of his points, Kyrie Irving, he was 7 of 8 free throws for Kyrie, and he finished with a total of 16 points. Mm-hmm. Like, they were making him take tough shots, and they did a solid job on it. But at the end of the day, this Celtics team has more grittiness, wholeness, and all around just grind mentality that I haven't seen, since the Big Three era with the Celtics. Wow, this team is legit, man. They're real.
Now, when we look at their schedule, they got Dallas coming up tonight in Dallas, and then they take on the Miami Heat on Wednesday. Then on Friday, they take on the Orlando Magic at home. So if when you look at those 3 games, do you think they're going to lose at least one of them? I could see them, if one of those games, I could see them losing to Miami.
I was about to say the Heat, most likely. And when you look at their schedule in general, it's not that difficult as they continue. Like you said, I have them either losing to the Heat, the Sixers, or the Pistons.
Oh, the Sixers, yeah.
You know, and if somehow they make it through all that without losing still, the Bucks will probably get them.
Yeah.
And if not that, then the Spurs. Like, someone's got to give. Something's got to give. But let's give credit what credit is due for this team.
And also credit to Brad Stevens and getting ready, getting his team amped up and juiced for just this season where you lost Gordon Hayward. You started the year by losing him in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And that could be just devastating for a basketball team.
Deflating for a season.
And not just a basketball team, and any team in general, losing one of your stars like that, and to go out there and play that they have played, I give so much love and respect to the Boston Celtics, and especially Brad Stevens.
Unsung hero here, Al Horford. 9 rebounds per game, 15 points per game, doing his job, stepping up. Because when you lose a guy like Gordon Hayward, someone needs to step up. Yeah. Someone needs to do a major job, and he's done it. Defensively, offensively, he's shooting threes like nobody's business. He has been fantastic for them as a leader on and off the court. Fantastic. Al Horford, give him the credit he deserves. Everyone's going to talk about Kyrie. Everyone's going to talk about that team, but you cannot forget about the big man in the middle, Al Horford.
No, you cannot. And the team in general, everybody, to me, everybody's a team MVP on this team because they got guys left and right who can shoot, who can defend, all the way around. Kudos and love to the Boston Celtics.
Eliav may be tough at times. What are you doing? Stop wasting time. But he does have a soft side too. Come on. Get ready for Eliav's soft spot of the week. All right, fam.
Eliav Gabay, ladies and gentlemen.
We got a heartwarming soft spot of the week this week. This week, it's gonna be Penn State honorary captain Tim Shaw. Battling ALS. He used to be a linebacker and defensive end for the Detroit Lions and a special teams player on the Tennessee Titans. He joined the captain's circle in Penn State's last game, and wow, it was very heartwarming because he also had some help. He was helped up, and because ALS, it's a devastating disease. He was helped up to the captain's circle with Penn State O-lineman Brendan Mahone and Andre Nelson, helping him walk over and get to be a captain, an honorary captain, and it was just quite the sight. Very sweet. It's ALS, man. There's still no cure, and it is devastating people.
And especially to see Brendan Mahone and Andre Nelson going out there, man, that really made it for me. Like, to see them go out there and helping someone like that and giving them that opportunity, that right there is soft spot of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Last segment of the show coming up next. About 20 minutes left before we got to get on out of here. We're going to talk some college football, and the World Cup is set. No, the USA is not in it. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com. Welcome back to the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com. A little bit of Fallout Boy here for you on this Monday morning. Thanks again to Shane Doan. I think we said it 20 times now for coming on the show. A great conversation with him. Let's close out the show by diving into some college football because we got a coach who is now unemployed, and his name is Jim Mora. He was fired yesterday.
Not surprised. Oh, but it was on his birthday.
That's tough. So UCLA fires Jim Mora after 6 seasons, and for a Jim Mora for the coach that he is, a 46-30 record, that's just not up to his standards and up to his par. Like, UCLA was expecting much more, and also they had Josh Rosen this year. They were severely disappointing from what UCLA could have been, and I'm not surprised at all by this move. Similar to you, I'm not surprised.
No, when you have your own fan base paying to have planes fly over the Rose Bowl with reasons Jim Mora should be fired, I think that's gone far enough. If you're continuing to just fail, and I know that they beat ASU this year. It was a great game. We were there. Braden and I called that. It was fun.
Lucky,
but at the end, at the end of the day, they have just been disappointing, and injuries haven't helped out either. But when your fan base is pushing that hard, you have to do what has to be done.
Yeah,
and that had to be done, and they're going to take a big bite out of the bullet of his buyout. That's going to be bad. That's expensive.
Yeah.
That's an expensive buyout to pay when you have another coach that you have to try and find and bring in. But I'll tell you what, a lot of people are going to want that job.
He's owed approximately $12.36 million. That's more than Todd. I thought Todd Graham's buyout was bigger. I mean, come on, Jim.
No. I think he's. Are you sure the buyout? It's either that or 14.76.
Oh,
but either way,
regardless,
it's more than Todd Graham by at least $2 to $4 million.
That's crazy. Unbelievable.
Listen, that's what happens when you give a great contract, a fat one, and then you put your money, you bet on somebody, and they don't deliver.
Mm-hmm. So the World Cup 2018, the field is set. The qualifying teams, obviously teams like Brazil are in there, France, Argentina, and a bunch of about 30 other teams are in this playing field. Now, we all know the one of them is not the United States. And I think that, I mean, when we look at this list and who's not on the, I think
let's go most disappointing. Most disappointing. Go ahead.
I mean, you look at the list and you see the teams, but you think right away, oh man, there's some teams on there that are really not that are just disappointing. They're not on that list. The U.S. was one for me. I have one other, Eliav. Team Italy. I think Italy should have. I mean, Italy's been a powerhouse. I mean, they won the World Cup a few years ago, and to see them not on that qualifying list, man, that's bad right there, dude. That's bad.
And it's a shame for Gigi Buffon, who's going to be, his last rodeo and all that, and they just couldn't get it done. For me, the most disappointing, and I'm going to go by world rank here, Chile. They were 9th.
Oh, yeah.
They were ranked 9th world rank, and they couldn't get it done and couldn't get in there. Of course, it really depends who you ask, because anyone who supports either team or is from and either of the countries, obviously that's the most disappointing to them. But as far as only soccer is concerned, it's probably Chile. At the end of the day, you got Netherlands, you got Italy, you got Chile, and of course America. That is just heartbreaking that they didn't make it for each one of those countries, when you really it was almost a foregone conclusion that you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you just don't.
I think, and it's also disappointing. I mean, we mentioned this a few weeks ago, but the amount of dollars and revenue that United States soccer makes, and to see them not go to the biggest soccer tournament ever, and to not even be in that with the amount of time and money that has been invested in this group is disgraceful as far as I'm concerned.
And Christian Pulisic, he did a Players Tribune article.
Right.
And he was talking about how, they knew it was over right away, right as they knew they had to at least get a tie, and they knew it was over right when the game ended. Because, and by that, of course, everyone's like, obviously, if it's over, the game ended. No, but you have to check the other scores to see if, the right players teams needed to win in order for maybe you to get lucky. But they knew that they lost that right off the bat. And man, is that a devastating feeling. And it's interesting. That's why I love Players Tribune, because you hear it from him.
Exactly.
You don't hear it, but you read it from him. And that's interesting when you think about, the Wonder Boy, Wonder Kid, for America. And man, it's crazy. It's still interesting to think that America is still not there. When you watch the World Cup, I'm not going to believe it until you actually watch it. Just like, dang, they're really not there.
Neither is Team Italy.
Yeah, Netherlands, Chile, all of them. You're just gonna be like, wow, this is odd. Yeah. This is odd. But hey, credits to the teams who did make it. The smaller teams that are making their debuts and the countries that are getting their breaks, hey, they deserve it way more than those big countries that didn't deliver. Because they've had their opportunities. Like you said, they have the money. Those teams don't have the money. Those teams don't have the numbers, and they still got it done. And that's what you're going to love to see. You love to see those underdogs make it.
Like one of those teams is Iceland and Egypt. Those are two teams. I hadn't even seen those two.
Morocco made it.
And, there's Senegal. Like there's so many teams here. You're like, wow, Tunisia. You get so much love and respect to these teams. But like you said it, dude. Like you said it. To see those teams not in there, you're going to get a little slap in the head.
Let's do this. Way too early pick of your World Cup final and then champion. People, we did not plan this. This is out of nowhere, and Weston shook.
No.
I'll go first. Man, it's tough to go against Germany. It is so tough to go against Germany.
3, 2, 1.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No.
Dang it, I tried.
I'm going to say Brazil, Germany. And Brazil's going to win the World Cup, man.
I'm looking at the 30 teams right now. Brazil was the first one I had my eyes on. But I'm looking at some
Argentina
of these other
might pull through. If they can
I also see England.
Man, no, England's not going to win.
I also see France and Argentina. Between France and Argentina.
Really? Now, Germany didn't even make it.
No, I'm paying Brazil versus Argentina.
Oh my God! You got a South American.
That's right.
Clash.
A South American clash.
Do you have Messi finally winning his first?
Yes.
Oh my God! This is, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 South American teams winning it all.
Yes.
For the Weston DeWitt show with Eliav Gabay.
Messi.
Wow. And then Messi winning. I wanted to keep my bias out of it, so I didn't pick Argentina.
I'm gonna go with Argentina.
That would be amazing
because Messi's gonna step up. This World Cup is gonna belong to him, man.
You know what? If it's not this time, I don't know when it will be.
You're right.
This is his last chance. This is his last true chance with a solid team around him. That if they can work together, because they haven't looked good, but if they can find their groove and work together truly to get it done, this will be a fun World Cup to watch. Man, Brazil, Argentina, Germany is probably still going to win.
You know, Germany.
They have it all, man. They have it all. The best midfield, the best goaltender. They have the best goalie. Best midfield, great attack, fantastic. I mean, they have it all, man. It's going to be tough to beat that team, but anything can happen. It's the World Cup. Look for Spain, young team. I love Spain. Look for Spain. They're youthful. They're solid. They have a newfound life that they had none of last World Cup. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
So, transitioning to the Octagon, we have a title fight for UFC 219. The one that has been we've been looking for that one for a while. Dana White has been looking for a title fight.
Oh, this is going to be good.
So get this. Chris Cyborg is back after winning at UFC 214. She won the featherweight title, and she will face Holly Holm. Now, for those who don't remember Holly Holm, that's the girl who knocked out Ronda Rousey.
Right, that's what she's known for. The one who kicked her in the face.
That was still unbelievable. And that was like
beautiful.
It was a couple-year anniversary a few days ago of that fight. So
yeah, I remember watching that. We were watching that in Taylor Place right here. Remember, we were watching that on my laptop. We hooked it up, and everyone was just like, what?
Unbelievable.
Pure shock.
Mm-hmm. So the two are going to fight for the featherweight belt on December 30th at UFC 219 in Las Vegas. So when we look at the featherweight belt, it first went to Jermaine Duran to me, but then she had to vacate the belt, Eliav, because she refused to fight Chris Cyborg. Now, when you give up your belt and you refuse to fight somebody, you're not a champion, in my opinion.
Nope.
You're not.
Nope.
And so she rightfully stripped the belt.
Wait, hold on a minute. You got to think about personal stuff. I'm not really sure what happened in her personal life, what happened in the backstory, why she didn't.
Yeah.
If it was out of just like, oh, I don't want to fight that person because I'm going to lose, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it seems like that wouldn't be the sole reason.
Yeah, but I got sour grapes toward the whole thing for some reason.
Right.
I just do. And so now the winner of the featherweight belt was Chris Cyborg, as I mentioned, defeated Tanya Evinger at UFC 214. And yes, that was the card John Jones and Daniel Cormier had their rematch. Now it will be Holly Holm going for the belt. Now, when I look at the early impressions of this fight, Chris Cyborg is a beast in her own right. She is scary good, and she's a champion for a reason. But you got somebody like Holly Holm who shocked the world once. She could do it again. Now, Cyborg is the favorite in this fight.
You got to get her off her feet. You got to get Holm off her feet, and that's that's what I think Cyborg will do, and that's why I'm going to go with Cyborg. I'm rolling with her. I know Holm has that explosiveness, and if she stays on her feet, she's absolutely dangerous.
Because she's a kickboxer.
Right. But I'm going to go with Cyborg.
It's tough for me because I can see one of those kicks landing on Cyborg. I just can. Now, on the other hand, Cyborg...
She can take it.
But Cyborg, she's going to land some jabs, uppercuts. She's got punching power like I've never seen before. So, early impressions, I'm going to go with Cyborg, but we reserve the rights to change our minds. But Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm for the UFC Women's Featherweight title on December 30th at UFC 219. Going to be a good one.
Everything trending on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and more. Get ready for Harley's hot topics and social media. All right, so we're going to start from about a week ago when LeBron took to MSG and, of course, hit the game-winning 3 over Kristaps Porzingis after pretty much shredding Phil Jackson earlier in the week. And so Slam Magazine put February 22nd, 2004, LeBron's first game in the Garden, and LeBron quoted it and said, "Young king just trying to prove to himself he belonged." And then, of course, after he won the game, he crowned himself King of New York on Instagram. So someone wrote this on Twitter: LeBron disrespected their rookie, disrespected their center, disrespected their front office, acted like their subway was a fun little joyride, clamped their best player in the clutch, drilled the game-winning three in their best player's face, and now calls himself the King of New York.
Topping off with some icing on the cake.
Exactly. Toronto Raptors beat the Houston Rockets earlier this week, and they put a picture of a beardless James Harden with the caption "Ball game, Raps win."
That's great.
A very beardless James Harden. And then Doug Gottlieb took to Twitter and said, "I like what Arizona State has going on in hoops."
Oh, there you go.
Pretty cool.
They are rolling.
Of course, we had the whole Donald Trump beef with LaVar Ball. Bill Barnwell quoted the Buffalo Bills' decision to bench Tyrod Taylor. And this was before Peterman's 5 interceptions, and said, I mean, if Tyrod Taylor wanted to play, you should have let the Saints run for 298 yards on him. And then Joel Embiid was just on fire all week on social media.
Oh, goodness gracious.
They beat the Lakers, of course, in his dominant performance, and he posted a picture of him laying it up over Lonzo and said, "What a night." And then decided to reiterate that he likes Lonzo's game, saying, "I like Lonzo's game, no shots towards him." And then the Oregon Duck.
Here we go.
Posted a picture with the Arizona Wildcat mascot and said, "Mr. Steelio Girl." And then Sparky quoted it and said, "Take her back, not worth it."
Holy crap.
Yeah.
The beef. It's
the
real.
beef. And that's this week on social media.
Wait, I want to add one thing.
There's one more. Doug Holler, after Donald Trump tweeted about LaVar Ball and all that stuff, he said, "Now that you're involved in the Pac-12, can you please get Pac-12 networks on DirecTV? A lot of folks won't be able to watch the Territorial Cup this weekend."
That's
you
great.
gotta love that.
I love it.
No, I wanted to add one more where someone tweeted at the Sacramento Kings, and they said for the Sacramento Kings to beat, here, I'll get the quote, the Kings are going to beat the Blazers when pigs fly, and then Sacramento Kings quote tweeted it, and then reposted and said, "Well, guess what?" with a pig and an airplane, and they edited a photo. They photoshopped a pig on an airplane, and they were like, "Well, guess what? Pigs are flying."
Oh God!
Oh my God! I know that's like a pretty basic joke, and it's not that funny, but I was dying when I saw it.
The Sacramento Kings social media manager deserves a raise. So, real quick before we wrap up the show, there is breaking news to SportsCenter. Now, we saw Baker Mayfield in his antics against Kansas. It has been announced by head coach Lincoln Riley that he will not start or be a captain against West Virginia. So, good strict stances by Lincoln Riley. Yep. And, I've raved about Baker Mayfield. You know how I feel about him. But his actions against Kansas, where he tried to go shake the captain's hand, but they didn't, and he was like, "Oh, okay." Then he goes over to the sideline and, he does some antics that are really not that appropriate, let's just say. So, good on Lincoln Riley for taking that stance. The Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay here on Blaze Radio and streaming live on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
One more show. What? How did we get here?
Dude, time flies by when you're having fun. Our thanks again to Shane Doan for coming on the show. Make sure you guys come back with us next week. We will have the final show of the Weston DeWitt Show with Eliav Gabay. Remember, guys, God is good. We are way too blessed to be stressed. Go out there and make a difference today. Now, Eliav Gabay and I, we will be back for the last show next week. See ya.
Real dog still kicking with me. All my down, still tricking with me.